Today on Locked On Red Wings, Detroit treats us with an early Halloween gift by tricking us into a false sense of security, but then treating us with a shootout win.
You're Locked On Red Wings, your daily podcast on the Detroit Red Wings. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On Red Wings podcast. I don't think I've ever done a cold open.
No, take a bow. Honestly, you deserve it, man. That was an absolute effing beauty. What a way to kick off this 2 a.m. recording.
Right off the dome, too. I mean,
that was just fantastic.
It helps too because there's like a little Halloween notification in the top right corner. I was like, oh yeah, it is technically Halloween now. So here we go.
Sure is.
Welcome back to the Locked On Red Wings podcast. We are your hosts, Brian Fisher and Scotty Bentley, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. And you can listen to us wherever you get your podcasts. It is 1:50 in the morning Eastern time. And of course, the 10:30 p.m. start game had to go to a shootout because why not? That's just how life works. And thankfully, Detroit squeaked out of there with a 4-3 shootout victory after just absolutely pissing away a 2-goal lead with 2 minutes left in the game. There's a lot going on in this hockey game. Of course, the emphasis right now is on how that game finished, but there was a whole other 58 minutes beforehand that we want to talk about too. We'll get to all that in this game. Before we get to any of that, got to let you guys know today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Create an account and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Download Gametime today. What time is it? Gametime. All right, Scotty. 4-3 shootout win in the ugliest. I don't know if I've seen a grosser 2 points. I don't feel good about those 2 points with how that game finished. But the 58 minutes before it, I mean, that was a pretty solid game overall, back and forth. But the final 2 minutes and then overtime, I was seething that entire time. With that being said, who's your difference maker in this game, Scotty?
Dude, there's like 50 different, between players and, specific moments. I mean, you could just literally just say the last, 3 minutes of the third period. There's Cam Talbot in the shootout, especially that is, literally a difference maker, I guess. There's a lot of different directions that you can go. I'm going to go a little bit off the board here. He had a great game. But I think Alex DeBrincat might have been the best player on the ice. And okay. I thought that he was really impressive. Had a goal, had an assist. There was on one of the second, I think it was, Kasper goal. He started that play off, right? Like that, the beautiful kind of tic-tac-toe-ness of it all. He started that, and yeah, I was unbelievably impressed with his game. Only 15 minutes, I think. I say only 15, that's still a decent amount, but Larkin logged 22 or 23 minutes by the end of this thing. But yeah, I think when you're talking about what ended up being an overtime game, the guy that had a secondary but started off the play on one of the Wings goals and then scored the other is a pretty big impact.
Yeah, Red Wings had a 70% expected goal share when Alex DeBrincat was on the ice today. Obviously, he scored on the power play as well. That's 3 consecutive games in which Alex DeBrincat has scored. So the dam has officially broken on Alex DeBrincat scoring. It looks like we're in for a fun time now with him on the ice. And I mean, to even expand upon that, and you did go a little off the board. I was not expecting Alex DeBrincat. Not that that's a bad choice. He had a goal and an assist in this game. He did start off that play in which Marco Kasper got a second goal. But the members of the second line as a whole, I thought, had a solid game. Marco Kasper obviously had 2 goals in this hockey game. Another guy that the Red Wings desperately needed to get going offensively.
Who do you want to slander today so that they have a good game on Friday? Is there anyone you have in mind? Because for longtime listeners, that we're not new to this. Okay, we've been doing this for like 3 years. We have had the Locked On Red Wings reverse curse, where anytime we talk smack about a player, they immediately do well. I think there's a few options that we can kind of ponder throughout the rest of the episode. But yes, Marco Kasper, obviously fantastic as well.
Well, speaking of reverse curses, not me tweeting out at up 3-1 with the goalie pulled. Marco Kasper ENG for hat trick goal, and then they blow the lead. I was like, I deleted that tweet so fast. You have no idea. I was like, get that out of here. All's well that ends well. Would not have brought that up if they had lost this game. But, the second line, Kasper, and that's why I say the members of the second line, because obviously 2 of the 3 regulation goals that were scored came on the power play. So they weren't necessarily together. But Kasper goes in the net front, deflects a shot from Axel Sandin-Pellikka because he goes to his spot and screens the goalie. There was a review for high sticking. I didn't think it was conclusive. The officiating clearly agrees because the goal stood. And then on that second goal, it was close, but it was close, so the tie goes to the original call.
Right, it's got to be enough to overturn. So I think that's one where no matter what the original call was, it just would have stood.
Right,
and the Wings are the beneficiaries there.
And then the heads up play by Mason Appleton, he gets the pass across from DeBrincat on that odd man rush a little late, and Kemper kind of had him played, so he sends it back to the net front, where they've left Marco Kasper just wide open for a slam dunk goal. So that's why Appleton's included in that list as well. And that second line played great all game. And that's kind of the thing with the second line is they've been playing well. Kasper has been playing well. DeBrincat's been playing well. Who's ever, Appleton's been doing fine filling in. He played great in this game. But it's just the goals were not coming for them. Defensively, Kasper's numbers were great too. The goals were not coming, and now they're coming. So that has been a huge sigh of relief in this game, and then for DeBrincat the last few games, as now they are finding the back of the net, if not together, at least separately on special teams as well. And that leads me to my difference maker. And you put me in a tough spot. I did a good job of kind of forcing Kasper into that conversation with DeBrincat to give him his shout out because he was one of my candidates. Sure. So it's down between 2 people for me. And I'm going to go with special teams, but that then means that we'll talk Talbot first thing, notable performers, because he's, for me personally, right up there with the notable performers in this hockey game. But special teams went 4 for 4 on the PK and 2 for 3 on the power play. They did give up a shorthanded goal because the puck handling on the blue line was pretty poor on those first 2. A puck that didn't quite get sent deep enough ended up in a one-on-one with, Laferriere and Finney. Finney didn't make the right play because he's a rookie trying to cover defensively.
Just a disaster for all 4 periods of this game. Like, just complete train wreck. The neutral zone was for really, both teams, but zone entries and exits were weird. It was a weird game. I wonder if the ice was not great because the
boards were weird.
The place too was weird.
You got weird caroms off the board like crazy.
Yeah.
Where in areas where there has to have been a weird gap between the boards to have created those bounces because it wasn't going off stanchions. It was the boards that was coming off and then careening to the middle. Anyways, and then Seider telegraphed a pass, got picked off by Byfield, and Talbot made a huge save to keep that game at that time 1-1. They came back down, and that's when Kasper made it 2-1. But they did convert.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No. I didn't mean to cut you off. But no, you just said Byfield's name, and if you want to talk about a difference maker that's not a Detroit Red Wing,
he was unreal.
That dude is good at hockey. He was everywhere in this game, and even if the beginning of his career might have been slower than anticipated, coming out of that draft, he has certainly flipped the script there because he was phenomenal in this hockey game.
He is definitely certain to blossom, and he was super noticeable in this hockey game. But yeah, my difference maker, special teams, 4-4 on the PK, got a little help from the refs in overtime, and then power play, 2 for 3. They continue to roll. Probably top 10 in both categories after this game.
For sure. Yeah, I think it's a great call. And I don't know, man. Do we just have the greatest penalty kill of all time? People are talking.
Let's slow down.
People are talking.
The jinxing. Remember the jinxing. Scotty, let's head back to...
It's terrible.
It's
the worst penalty kill.
I think it could be better. Let's head to a quick break. When we return, we'll talk Cam Talbot, another notable performer, so stay tuned to segment 2 of Locked On Red Wings. It's not the right button. It's 1:30 in the morning. It's 2 in the morning. Give me a little grace here. Hockey season is officially here, and nothing beats being in the arena for those opening games. But let's be real, getting tickets can be a total headache. Between waiting in queues, surprise fees, and prices that jump before checkout, it's easy to get frustrated when all you want to do is cheer for your team. That's where Gametime comes in, the app that gives fans the advantage. It's your ultimate life hack for scoring amazing tickets fast, easy, and stress-free. I've recently used Gametime to score a pair of tickets to the Sergei Fedorov retirement night against the Hurricanes in January, and I got great seats in minutes because of the Gametime app. The big thing for me was the zone deals. It really helped me sift through the seats and find a great price in the section that I wanted because it shows you the best deals available in each respective section. It also shows you the price up front, so you're not surprised at checkout with a bunch of fees. Everything is included in the price you see when you're looking for your seat. So take the guesswork out of buying NHL tickets with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. That's code LOCKEDONNHL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Segment 2, Locked On Red Wings podcast. All right, Scotty, Cam Talbot, I thought, was phenomenal in this hockey game. Obviously, got a little lucky with 2 posts, but outside that, he was making huge save after huge save. Obviously, as I previously noted, he made a huge save on a Quentin Byfield breakaway on the second power play, which allowed the Red Wings to score on the ensuing play, or ensuing on the remainder of the power play with Marco Kasper, to make it 2-1 at the time. He made other huge saves throughout the game. He comes away with this hockey game with a goal saved above expected of 3.3 and a save percentage of just .886, which is crazy that it's that low given the fact that his goal saved above expected is 3.3. 921. Sorry, I had to refresh the page.
I was like, that math does not add up because he definitely faced 30-something odd shots.
Glad I refreshed the page there because I read that and I was reading it. That's what the numbers said. I was reading it, but then I was like, that's why I refreshed. It seemed a little off. But 921 save percentage, which is much more representative of what we thought, and had a goal saved above expected of 3.3, which is he was phenomenal in this hockey game without a shadow of a doubt.
You pulled that stat up when the Kings had 4, and then they took a goal off the board.
Right.
No, I mean specifically, the end of overtime when there's that huge scrum in front of the net, and the Wings are on a penalty kill, and it's just absolute chaos, and the Kings are just getting. I mean, it's. I'm not sure they're like full-blown, intentional shots. It's just a lot of people slapping their stick at the puck and hoping something happens in front of the net. And he stood on his head there, and then he was literally perfect in the shootout. And for a Wings team that, like, DeBrincat didn't score in the shootout, right? Well, they only had 1 goal, right, in the shootout. So, yeah, man, I mean, I think everybody on the team, maybe him included, started off slow, but it's a really hard. It's ultimately hard to argue when you look at overtime and the shootout about that dude clearly is one of the biggest reasons why we won this game.
Yeah, I just think it's impossible to argue that that's why I was struggling with, was he a difference maker? Was he not a difference maker? Because there's a couple of different candidates in this hockey game. I mean, he was, but you know what I mean? Like naming him one and one.
We just have more than 2 in this game. That's all right.
We do. There's so many. He played great. Don't need to keep hammering that one. Great for him to get that in not his first return to LA, his second return to LA since signing, and also Todd McClellan's return to LA. Yeah. So great to get to the win. Scotty, let's talk a little bit before we get back into the notable performers, since we've kind of covered the big main players and things that led to this game, this victory. What'd you think of the game as a whole, separating the first 58 minutes and the last few minutes in overtime.
Yeah. I mean, the game flow was just, again, I'm going to use the word weird again. Like, I just feel like this was such an odd game, and I'm just happy to walk out of there with 2 points, man. And you lose a regulation win, obviously, which, we've been bitten by that before. But, like, this is what, the fourth or fifth game in a row that they've gotten off to a really slow start. The first 5 minutes was some of the most insane hockey like you will see, dude. It was literally just rush, 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 rush. Like it was both teams just pressing so hard that it was, here's a rush and a goal, like one shot attempt. You get a one-timer. Okay, you miss, whatever. You get it poked away. Other team has possession, fly down the ice because the back door's open because they're pressing so hard. And both teams were just doing that back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And so, I mean, you got off to a crazy start, a slow start. But then I think it was a really entertaining and even game, I think, for a lot of it. Obviously, the collapse, sucks, and we'll obviously talk about that. But the first 57, 58 minutes of the game, I think the Wings played really competitive hockey. They played their brand and style that they want to emulate. And I also think that they even still left a couple of goal-scoring opportunities on the table. We've talked about finishing a lot. There was still, a handful of opportunities like that in this game that could have made that lead even larger. So, I think obviously that's a little bit of a backhanded compliment at the end, but like they continued to create opportunities. I thought in the second period and the first half of the third period, especially, they really had the upper hand. It was just the very beginning and the very end of the game. The ice was tilted a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it was really the beginning of the first period, the first 5 or so minutes that was just all LA Kings because this team just does not start on time, but thankfully they were able to stave it off. And then it evened out a little bit. I thought by the end of the first period, even though the shots had a little bit of an edge towards the Kings still, the Wings had woken up. And then the second period, I think the Wings were the better team for sure. And that obviously ended up accumulating in a couple power plays, a couple power play goals. When you have the puck and you're pressuring, teams take penalties. It's just how it works. So you get those power plays because you're pressuring in a lot of instances. The slow start's definitely a little bit of a concern, but you're right. They left a lot of plays on the table, a lot of scoring chances on the table. In the first period, Raymond and Soderblom had opportunities kind of in all alone, not quite breakaways, but not,
Raymond
rushes
was
either.
Yeah, as fringe as that conversation can be, I think. It was, he was pretty darn close to just being untouched there, yeah.
And Soderblom's was a 2-on-1, but the other one of his two was kind of completely taken out of the play. So he just the only thing he could do in that opportunity was shoot. And then in the second period, I believe it was the second, it was, after they had tied it 1-1, it actually led to the power play because they were pressuring so much that the Kings took a penalty. Compher and Kopp with and they've been playing great. And I do want to rescind my Kopp is cold statement from the previous episode because he had 4 points in 10 games, nearly half point per game, and he's playing great defensively. They continue to be a very good defensive line, matchup-driven line, and they're really good in their role, but they do have negative finishing skills. Compher whiffed on a one-time attempt right into the middle of the slot. Then the puck squeaked out the Kopp back door with a wide-open net, and he again hit the side of the net. And that's what we're talking about, the opportunity to finish and not capitalizing on it. And Kopp did walk away from this game with an assist, I do believe, as he assisted on Marco Kasper's first goal. So he now has 5 points in 11 games. It's just funny how when given an opportunity to score on anything that's not a redirection, or an empty net goal, they just can't finish. And it's such a backhanded compliment, I know. It stands out when there's such great opportunities. But they are playing good hockey. I do want to say that. They're playing good hockey in the role that they're given. But man, they just really struggle to finish. It's kind of funny to watch. Scotty, but yeah, you're right. The first 58 minutes, it was a back and forth 50-50 game, I thought, for the most part, that was determined by special teams. But then that collapse at the end of the third was just unacceptable. And I was fuming sitting down here when we thought Fiala had scored the power play overtime winner, typing up the graphic to tweet out, and then you were like, wait, never mind. I know that those goals came about from chaos, but they came about because the Red Wings didn't do what they do best. They didn't win the faceoff in the D zone. And that's actually been such a huge contributor. Prashant Iyer wrote in a fantastic piece about what's been working for the Red Wings penalty kill. And a lot of it is Dylan Larkin. They put Dylan Larkin out there in defensive zone faceoff, sometimes to just win the faceoff and get off. And it wasn't just him. He wasn't the only one who took faceoffs. But in that 2-minute stretch with no goalie, they were really struggling to win the faceoff. Kings won. They created chaos. Edvinsson on the one didn't take Corey Perry, so he just tucked it behind Talbot on the rebound. The second one, it was a block shot that just came to Byfield, who was able to. And Talbot's not at fault for either of those, but it just emphasizes again the importance of winning faceoffs, which is why Dylan Larkin plays such a pivotal role in those important moments.
We're a big pro faceoff win percentage podcast. Okay, we are very pro faceoffs. Yeah, man. I think you really hit the nail on the head there. I don't have too much else to add. I think obviously the special teams was a deciding factor, a difference maker, if you will, in this game. And overtime, I mean, when you focus on OT specifically, not only did they have, they struggled to maintain possession, and that obviously starts in the face-off circle, and then it also is not having giveaways in overtime. That's like the one rule. It's like, okay, it's 3-on-3, people do like the blue line thing, back and forth. Like the one rule in OT is like when you have possession of the puck, do not give it up. And they did twice, dude. Twice in overtime. They had the puck and just gave it away. There was one, just like a dump off behind the back pass that just ended up being a turnover. Like
that was Kasper.
It just can't happen, man. Like that is literally the one rule of like how to win overtime is just try to hold on to the puck for as long as possible and right. Don't give it away unless you get a grade A opportunity. And they just completely failed in that regard and in faceoffs, the two biggest ways you can retain possession in hockey. They failed to do both of those things in a 5-minute overtime period. So, I think they should be, counting their lucky stars that they're walking out of here with 2 points, but thanking. But yeah, man, like they in the same breath, it's not like they didn't earn it either. Like it's not like I'm not saying they just got lucky and whatever.
They got lucky with the finish, but the 58 minutes up until that point, they certainly earned
for sure. Yeah, and that goaltender interference was blatantly like I know I was like 50-50 on the other one. Like that is like that should be in textbooks when they're teaching what goaltender interference is. Like that was very blatantly, yeah.
And I know we got to get to a break, but I do want to add too, though, in the 58 minutes leading up to it, I think we saw the best defense we've seen from the forwards. Jonathan Berggren, I will get it right one of these days, actually came back and broke up an odd man rush at one point. I thought the forwards were very engaged in the back check. They were very engaged in the defensive zone. So I want to shout that out. I thought the forwards played fantastic defensively, which that may be the first time those words have left my mouth since I've taken over this podcast.
Yeah, genuinely, yeah.
Scotty, let's head to a break. When we return, we'll go back to notable performers before doing a quick preview on both the San Jose and Anaheim games this weekend. The NBA is back, and there's no better place to get in on the action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or want to ride the hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into a same-game parlay for a shot at bigger payout. Scotty, I put $5 down on the Wings money line to beat the Kings as they were road dogs, and they made me sweat it out, but I won the bet, coming away with about $10 in profits. So it keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making the late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers $300 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Oh, we're back to aviator season?
I literally was unpacking sunglasses. Like I'm still just have, boxes of stuff in the new place. And yeah, I finally got my sunglasses back today. So we're chilling.
Is this going to be a win thing?
I don't know.
Or is it just because you found them and you wanted
I think
to
it's
show
just
them
because
off?
I saw them and I was like, I'm going to put these on right now because it's 2:15 in the morning.
Very fair. Scotty, I thought that Moritz Seider had the best game with a few hiccups, if that makes sense. The best game, I should contextualize that. The best game I've probably seen this season so far. But he had obviously one bad turnover on the second power play that led to the Byfield breakaway. Luckily, Talbot bailed him out. He kind of telegraphed that pass, but he had, and Osgood called it out, a very active stick all night long that was breaking up passes, stopping rushes before they could begin. He was stepping up at the blue line that was breaking up break-ins, not odd-man rushes, but offensive possessions before they could really start. These little plays he always makes to escape pressure to then free up the Red Wings for a breakout or a change. They don't go unnoticed when I see them happening. I thought he had a great game overall. 28 and a half minutes for Moritz Seider in a 65-minute game. He was stellar in this game. He's been great all season. Analytically speaking, he's been one of the best defensemen defensively. The points haven't started coming for him yet. They will come. He did have a primary assist.
Who even cares?
Secondary assist in this game.
Like,
a lot of people care. A lot of people care. You know that.
Okay, but sure. I get the caring from I want to see that number be higher just because I want it to. But in terms of when you watch the games, who cares, man? He's getting he's getting the assist before the secondary on all of these. He's just
right.
He's the quarterback at the top and he's on the ice with the top six almost all the time, and they are producing a lot of points. It's not like he's bad offensively or preventing offense when he's on the ice or whatever. Who cares? He's phenomenal. The team is scoring when he's on the ice, and they're not, and the other team is not scoring when he's on the ice. That's the whole point of the position. I don't know. That's just I agree with you. I thought he was great in this game. I think he's been great this season. And outside of the one giveaway there for sure, he had a pretty flawless game.
Yep, he was pretty great. Scotty, ASP also had an assist in this game, a primary assist.
Dude, he had
a second power play.
A laser as well. He had an absolute clapper in this game.
Kasper was able to find and knock it down for a goal. I am still trying to figure out if I love or hate how quick he is to just decide to shoot the puck. I think I'm going to love it in some situations and be like, I wish you would have looked for a pass in others. But that's all part of the progress of him developing as a player and learning the situations when to shoot and when not. So I'm not worried about it. But man, sometimes he just gets the puck and he fires it. And a lot of them get blocked or deflected. But when they get through, man, you got to look out.
I feel like that's something that I would not want to take away from him.
No,
no.
I
don't want to tell a guy who has the potential to be a legitimate, high-end offensive defenseman, hey, maybe tone down on the 90-mile-an-hour slap shots. No, dude, let it rip. Actually, I'm okay with that. That I will. I'd prefer that than the alternative.
He was tied for second for individual shot attempts. So he had 4 shot attempts himself in this game.
Hilarious. What a baller, man.
Jonathan Berggren had 6 shot attempts in this game. 4 high danger chances for, and 5 scoring chances.
Good for him, man.
And that's the thing too, is I want to shout that out. We're talking about how Kopp and Comfort have been playing well as a matchup line. I think both Berggren and Soderblom have had a good couple games as well.
For sure.
The fourth line as a whole kind of got caved in, but I think Soderblom had a few shifts where he really showed up. Obviously, the length, forcing turnovers was huge, but I thought his puck possession behind the net, the way he defended the puck with his body, really showed up, and I think he forced a lot of turnovers and was great at possessing the puck too. Berggren, I already mentioned, very active defensively, but he is getting to the net offensively and had a couple of chances to bury it that just came up short. So he is answering McClellan's call, both of them. And that is so important if these players are going to take the steps forward as NHL players.
For sure. I agree.
Scotty, that about covers everyone I think I wanted to talk about in this game. You got anyone else?
No, I don't think so, man. Kind of a crazy, hectic game. Of course, the 10:30 start time is the craziest one. But, yeah, I mean, you've set yourself up really nicely. Like, this is now you're on a 3-game win streak, and you play 2 of the presumably, like, bottom feeders in the NHL. Certainly the Sharks are already proving to be that. The Ducks got off to a little bit of a decent start, but, like, I don't think anyone thinks that they're gonna have that last over 82. So yeah, like you got a real opportunity to take advantage of 2 teams that are like very objectively less talented than you. And yeah, man, like if you can, I mean, golly, I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but if you can go on start this road trip with a W4, and including the last home game, it would be a W5. That'd be pretty fun.
Yep. Don't underestimate them, though. Both teams coming in a little hotter than they were previously to start the season. The Ducks have won the last 3 of 4, including their most recent game in Florida, where they beat the Panthers 3-2. While the San Jose Sharks, who started out 0-6 rather, have won 3 of their last 5, including beating, at the time, the league's best Devils 5-2 at home. So both teams coming off wins against good opponents. So don't let these teams get hot. Don't be the team. Don't let these be trap games. Sure. That'll about do it for the preview. We know that Gibson starts against Anaheim. We know that Kane won't be there.
Word. Yeah. I mean, this is the perfect opportunity to continue playing your style of hockey that you want to implement, right? Like these are 2 teams that you should be more than able to have really good, successful, and aggressive forechecks and get offensive zone opportunities and set up shop. And yeah, obviously I don't worry about the Ducks game being a trap game because of the Gibson tie. I think the roster is just kind of, like that's a pretty common practice. Like we're going to win it for, so-and-so against former teams. So I don't worry too much about that one. Not to say they won't, like, I'm not guaranteeing a win. I'm just saying, like, I don't think it'll be because of effort is my point.
And you've jinxed it.
Right. Yeah. Now we're going to lose 6-1. So that's on me. But yeah, you got a real opportunity ahead of yourself here. So,
right.
And the end of the road trip, you play a really talented Vegas team, obviously. So
Cup favorite.
Keep stockpiling wins, as the Tigers said, right? Then you can afford to collapse and still walk into the postseason at the end of the year.
But let's not collapse, though. I understand the joke you're making with the Tigers, but
inevitably,
I've seen enough
when
collapses.
we lose every single game from the trade deadline to the end of the season, we can still make the playoffs if we have the best record of all time going into it.
I mean, they do that every year regardless. Scotty, this final thing, and then we'll send it on into the weekend. This is a really important win for Detroit because this was another game, another day where the Atlantic Division got the maximum amount of points possible.
So annoying.
This is and every single Atlantic Division game went to overtime as well, which is also hilarious. So Boston blew a 3-0 lead and beat the Buffalo Sabres in overtime. So the maximum allowable 3 points was earned by both Atlantic Division teams. The Senators beat the Flames in overtime, so they got 2 points. And then the Lightning won in overtime against the Stars 2-1. Fun fact, Adam Ernie scored the lone goal for the Stars. I didn't
Yeah,
even
he's a
know
dog.
Adam Ernie was still in the league, but hell yeah, that's what I'm going to say to that. Good for Adam
Absolute
Ernie.
dog, man. Absolute
Dog. Scotty, let's head to the weekend. I recovered. Don't bring attention to
You
it.
did. No, you did. Respect, brother.
Do you have any final thoughts?
We ball, baby.
We do ball. Have a happy and safe Halloween. We will see you guys in November. Same time, same place. It's your team every day.